1,
2,
3, 4,
5.
It's dark and quiet, and you're laying inside your country home far out in the middle of nowhere from any neighbors or any police stations. You're falling in and out of sleep while listening to the sounds of the frogs croaking in the distance and the old hoot owl hooting in the oak tree near your window. It is a peaceful country night, and you're about to drift off into deep sleep when all of a sudden a loud crash comes from somewhere else in your house. What do? The sound gets louder and closer. What do you grab? A bat, a hammer, or a gun? The noise gets even closer to your room, and you grab your gun and slip out of your room to confront the intruder in your home. Your heart races, and then you become face to face with the intruder who is endangering your life and your family's lives. Now stop and think for just a moment, what would you have done if your government had taken away the only thing that could possibly save your life or your family's lives? The debate over the infringing of our Second Amendment right to bear arms has been a popular discussion for several years now. There are many people on both sides of this. Some are for gun control and the limiting of people's right to possess guns, and some are against the taking away of our Second Amendment right. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution is the part of the United States Bill of Rights that protects the right of the people to keep and bear arms. It was adopted on December 15, 1791. The Second Amendment reads as the following: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. According to Exploring Constitutional Conflicts, the meaning of the Second Amendment depends on who you talk to. The National Rifle Association, which has the Second Amendment engraved on its headquarters building in Washington, insists that the amendment guarantees the right of individuals to possess and carry a wide variety of firearms. Advocates of gun control contend that the amendment was only meant to guarantee to states the right to operate militias. As for me, I'm against gun control for many reasons. We already have enough laws on the books that punish crimes with guns. Guns are just basically a tool, just like a baseball bat, hammer, or a car. All of these could be used to injure someone or kill someone. Should we allow our government to take away people's right to have cars or even hammers? Yes, guns can be dangerous, but not if you use them correctly. But if someone wants to harm you, they will do it gun or no gun. A lot of people have guns and don't get hurt with them, but this is ignored. Law-abiding citizens know how to use guns and teach others to stay away from them, just like a car. You teach your children not to play around cars or touch hot stoves, just like people should teach their children to stay away from guns. People complain about gun violence, but the answer isn't fewer guns, but more guns. If criminals knew that more people could defend themselves, they might think twice about causing people harm. Criminals are criminals. They aren't going to follow the law anyway. Police are great, don't get me wrong, but most often they are there after the fact. But picture this, if you will. A criminal goes into a bank and says, "Stick 'em up," and then everyone in the bank points a gun right back at them. I bet there would be a lot less bank robberies then. According to Conservapedia, firearms, especially handguns, allow any person to wield enough power to stop another person from attacking them. Many women fear the threat of being attacked by a physically stronger man. A firearm could prevent many of these attacks, but gun bans leave these women vulnerable. Take the case of the Northside rapist in Chicago, a city not far from here, and one of the cities where handguns are banned, as an example. The rapist broke into women's homes, and at least one of the women heard him break in and then climb the stairs. Had this woman had a handgun, she almost certainly could have stopped the rapist before it was too late. This could have also prevented her from enduring such a horrific crime, as well as preventing the rapist's future victims from experiencing the same thing. Instead, Chicago law prevented her from being able to defend herself and gave the advantage to the rapist. This is not an isolated incident, and similar events happen every day across the country. Being a young woman my age, this kind of information scares me, and knowing some of the statistics, such as one from JustFacts.com, saying that roughly 1 in every 240 Americans will be murdered, doesn't make it any better. Having to lock my doors in my cars just so I can stop at a stop sign, or even afraid to leave my window open at night even though it's almost 90 degrees outside, isn't what I should be worried about. I'm 18, and I should be worried about college and spending time with my friends, not worrying about if I'll wake up in the next morning due to an intruder in my home. You have a right, some would say an obligation, to protect you, yourself, and your family. Just this week in Kansas City, Kansas, 2 armed robbers broke into a lady's home, not knowing the owner was still inside. She hid in her closet while the robbers ransacked her home. What they didn't know was that she had a gun of her own. She shot and killed one of the robbers, and under the castle law, which states that someone attacked in his or own home can use reasonable force, which can include deadly force, to protect oneself or another's life without any duty retreat from the attacker. She was in the right to protect herself and her property. The castle doctrine's name appears to have its origin in the English common law gun rules protecting a person's home and phrase, one's home is one's castle. If guns were to be banned, the news would have instead reported a murder instead of the lucky ones who lived through it. Life with gun control would be a lot worse in my view. People would basically be defenseless, and the death rate would surely rise. All Americans have the right to protect themselves and the ones they love. Everyday life is dangerous. That's why we make items to protect us, and taking away these items would be pointless in my eyes. So as I end this speech, I want to refer back to the beginning and imagine yourself being in that situation. What would you have grabbed? The hammer, the bat, or the gun? If any of the women from the Chicago murders had a choice, I'm almost certain they would have chosen the same thing the woman in Kansas chose and who lived. No matter if you are for gun control or against it, ask yourselves, at what lengths would you go to protect your family? Thank you.